With the release of Daredevil Born Again, a common question that has been brought up again is Nightwing versus Daredevil, and to nobody's surprise, Daredevil is the favorite, and this conclusion usually stems from a lack of knowledge about Nightwing, as this is a battle that is way more close than people tend to believe. We are the Hive Mind, and in this video, we'll be breaking down this matchup and explaining exactly how this fight would go down in a death battle.
The attack power of these two crime fighters is the most comparable category, as both street-tier combatant. Most of their attack potency scaling comes from how they affect mid-tier characters, such as Nightwing consistently being able to stagger beings such as Amaza, an android with the powers of the Justice League, draw blood from clones of Superman who are similar in power to the original, and how he throws around Blockbuster, both sending him flying and drawing blood, which is impressive as mid-tiers like Hawkman and Steel fight relative to Blockbuster. When we say these characters are comparable, we are not joking, because if you think what Nightwing is doing is impressive, then the Man Without Fear is undoubtedly in the same category. Daredevil bully Kingpin in their fights, needing only 2 hits to knock out the obese crime boss. The Thor rogues, known as the Wrecking Crew, end up fighting Matt more times than you would think, and Matt has shown that he can quickly take these villains with his strikes. When it comes to more powerful living beings, he has also shown the ability to stagger them, such as Namor the Submariner, Juggernaut, Colossus, and Dr. Doom. With Daredevil being a little more consistent with more notable mid-tiers like the Wrecking Crew and Juggernaut and Colossus, we can give an edge to Daredevil. However, the gap as shown is not an insane gap at all.
The discussion of attack potency only becomes relevant if either of these characters can withstand the damage each other will dish out. Like their attack potency, the scaling comes from mid-tier characters attacking them, and both fighters have taken a lot of damage. Daredevil has taken hits to the face from a trying Spider-Man, which drew blood from Matt, as well as a superior Spider-Man who does not hold back like Peter. He's been punched in the face by the Lethal Protector Venom, taken blasts from Captain Marvel, and walked off getting blown up and sent flying into a wall. In the other corner, we have Nightwing, who continued fighting like he didn't just get punched in the face by Magog's metal arm, the same arm that sent Wonder Woman flying back. On top of that, he's taken direct blasts from Eclipso, blasts from Jinx that harmed Superboy, and blasts from the Omega Knight who was able to knock out Martian Manhunter, Cyborg, and Starfire. Again, depending on how you argue and interpret the higher tier durability feats for both characters, you can argue one over the other. However, it is safe to say that Nightwing has better durability through superior showings of withstanding brute force.
Alright, so the next category we're going to be covering is speed, which is a bit more complicated to break down as a majority of the quantification comes from determining separate factors like distance between an object being dodged as well as the distance traveled in relation to said object. As these characters are street tier, majority of their highest tier speed scaling is inconsistent and unquantifiable, as we would be chain scaling them off of higher tier characters like Superman and Thor, who can easily be scaled to infinite and immeasurable speed tiers. If you personally subscribe to this scaling philosophy, that's completely fine, but in this video we're going to be discussing a more realistic and consistent line of scaling for both characters. First up is Nightwing. Nightwing is a character who consistently scales above characters like Batman and Deathstroke in speed, both characters who have been performing relativistic feats their entire career, with Deathstroke having statements of his reactions making light appear to be standing still. This is important as Nightwing on numerous occasions has been shown to completely outpace Slade, to the point where Slade can't even tag or react to Nightwing's attacks. When it comes to static feats themselves though, Nightwing has plenty of great lightspeed reaction feats, where he dodges light at very close range, even off guard. He's even done so to multiple at one time. And although Daredevil has performed a significant amount of similar lightspeed feats in terms of like his ability to dodge lasers or Cyclops' optic blast, he unfortunately doesn't have the chain scaling to characters who have performed as quality of feats as Deathstroke has. Take this feat for example, where Slade precisely reacts to a lightspeed attack flying at him at point blank range, or when he travels approximately 10 feet in under a nanosecond. These are higher quality because of the speed formula, distance over time. Because more distance is being traveled in a shorter amount of time, it's more impressive. For the people who can't comprehend this, and unfortunately many people fall into this demographic, 2 miles per minute is faster than 1 mile per hour, because you traveled more distance and less time. For this reason, we're going to give Nightwing the better quality speed scaling, making him the faster of the two combatants. The speed gap's not so significant where Daredevil won't be able to contend, but it's enough of an advantage to where it's noteworthy to give the point to Nightwing.
So at this point, we've already established that Daredevil has a slight advantage in attack potency. However, Nightwing evens the playing field with superior durability. Therefore, both combatants can deal damage and withstand multiple attacks from each other. Nightwing also possesses a speed advantage in this fight, making him more likely to land strikes and evade strikes, meaning the real determining factors in this battle are their skill sets, which dictates whether or not the speed advantage actually favors Nightwing, and the equipment that they bring to the fight, which could completely negate physical scaling altogether. When it comes to combat, who exactly has the advantage? Daredevil is a master of one martial arts style, which would most likely be either BJJ or boxing, as Iron Fist has noted that these styles are Matt's go-to. Nightwing has an advantage in versatility over Daredevil in this category because Nightwing has learned all that Batman knows, and Batman knows all martial arts on Earth, as well as plenty of alien martial arts on top of that. And Nightwing's ability to learn these styles was so adept that as Robin, he had already mastered many of them, meaning he was a master of more than half of the martial arts styles that Batman knew. And now in the current day, Nightwing is regarded as Batman's equal in the context of skill. And he's also stated to be a peak level martial artist in the DC universe, and this is noteworthy because of low level fighters having mastery of all martial arts. So for Nightwing to be at the peak level, his mastery would have to transcend theirs. However, regardless of having less quantifiable martial knowledge, Matt has shown that his proficiency with martial arts has let him contend characters with way more martial arts knowledge than himself. Popular examples would be characters like Wolverine, who like Nightwing is a master of all martial arts. Even with a knowledge disadvantage and physical advantage, Matt has consistently shown that he can outmaneuver and outperform Logan in combat. So regardless of a knowledge and versatility gap, Daredevil is skilled enough to contend with Nightwing.
The real application of Daredevil's skills lie in how he incorporates his radar sense into his combat, as Marvel directly tells us that his radar sense has increased his martial arts prowess to rival characters like Iron Fist and Shang-Chi, who by this point is consistently regarded as the pinnacle of martial arts within Marvel. His radar allowed him to understand Karnak's combat strategy, who by the way is an Inhuman whose entire power set is the ability to sense weak points. After seeing that Karnak was targeting Mac's lack of sight, Daredevil was able to counter and become victorious. When faced against the precog Nighthawk, who sees the future of the fight, Daredevil's radar sense was the perfect match for it, which let Matt completely fight relative. Matt himself has precognition through his radar sense. It feeds him information, which lets him accurately predict his opponent's movements. If you take this very hyper-literal interpretation of some of Matt's statements, he can even see infinite possibilities within a fight. So how exactly would Nightwing combat this? Simply put it, he's just better. Throughout the years, Nightwing has already shown that his fighting ability has been able to overcome these advantages before. When it comes to fighting masters of all martial arts, Nightwing has been fighting them since he was a child, literally fighting hundreds at the same time. Like Wolverine, Deathstroke is also a master of all martial arts who is physically superior to Nightwing, but grace and skill has shown that these advantages mean nothing to him. Unlike Daredevil, where he closes the gap with relativity, Nightwing straight up embarrasses the mercenaries. Specifically when it comes down to precognition, it's pointless, as when Nightwing went against Ravager, a character with the same future sight as Nighthawk, Nightwing completely outclassed her. For the more extreme precognition applications, Midnighter got outskilled by Nightwing when Nightwing just changed the way he fights. The reason this is so impressive is because Midnighter's possession of the battle computer allows him to see every possibility within a fight, having specifically studied and analyzed Nightwing's fighting style from the time that he was a circus kid. Therefore, when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, Nightwing will have the advantage and would most likely win any close quarters encounter the two have.
Now to finally discuss gear. And to nobody's surprise, Nightwing takes this one. This should be obvious, but being partnered with arguably the most equipped character in comics, he has a large arsenal to attack any situation. Daredevil only brings his billy clubs, which isn't going to give him any added benefits, as its usage is linked directly to his skill application. He possesses a few resistances in his suit to sound, but the sound nullifier must be manually activated. Nightwing, on the other hand, is equipped with a multitude of things, such as smoke bombs, tranquilizers, laser cutters, explosives, and tasers. Nightwing is also noted to have access to all the gadgets within the Batcave. All of these gadgets would be effective in a fight against Daredevil, who has no real counters for anything Nightwing can throw at him. And aside from the sonics, which even then will not work immediately as Matt needs to turn on the dampeners, majority of Daredevil's gear comes from his radar sense rather than his gadgets. However, the applications of the radar during a battle do not grant any added benefits in the fight that Nightwing will not also have. For example, the radar locates weak points on his opponents, and under normal circumstances, this is very impressive. However, Nightwing has the natural ability to analyze his opponents for minute details that allow him to detect weaknesses in their movements. All in all, Nightwing has a large advantage when it comes to the equipment brought to the table.
With what we've presented, we think that Nightwing is the clear winner in this battle. Despite their physical prowess being mostly relative, Nightwing takes the advantage in every aspect that heavily impacts the fight. With relative AP and durability, his speed and skill advantages make him more likely to land more strikes and end the fight first. When you add the massive equipment advantage, which allows Nightwing to zone Matt, Nightwing really controls this fight. Even with the benefits of the radar sense, Nightwing's skill allows him to close the gap and overcome this ability. And with his gear, such as his hypersonics, he can even turn the radar sense against Matt. When it comes down to it, Nightwing's really just the better combatant, giving him the victory in this encounter.
Appreciate you guys for sticking to the end of the video. If you like breakdowns like this and overall comic content, please subscribe. We got a lot of stuff coming in the future. Like the video and comment your thoughts down below. Catch y'all in the next one.